Okay, let's play some damn chess. Slut. Look how ugly I look. Sometimes I want to fucking kill myself. If I have to look like this, no. I want to fucking kill myself sometimes. I want to fucking kill myself sometimes. Rather than fucking look like fucking this. Fuck this shit. Suck off and then fuck off. Okay. How the fuck took? I'm gonna kill myself if I'm not. I want to kill myself if I'm. I want to kill myself if I'm. I want to kill myself if I'm not. I'm gonna kill myself if I'm not a fox. Fuck that shit. Fuck that motherfucking shit. Get that slutty horse out of here. Get that slutty nut out of here. Slut.
A little slow tonight, isn't it?
Get that whore out of here.
Yes, it is, Mr. Torrance. What would be?
Slut.
I'm awfully glad you asked me that, Lloyd. Because I just happen to have 2 20s and 2 10s right here in my wallet. I was afraid they were going to be there next April. So here's what. You slip me a bottle of bourbon, a little glass, and some ice. You can do that, can't you, Lloyd? You're not too busy, are you?
No, sir. Not busy at all.
Good man. Welcome back, Lloyd. One by one. White man's burden, Lloyd, my man. White man's burden. Say, Lloyd, it seems I'm never late. How's my credit in this joint anyway?
Your credit's fine, Mr. Torrance.
That's swell. I like you, Lloyd. I always liked you. You were always the best of them. Best damn bartender from Timbuktu to Portland, Maine. To Portland, Oregon, for that matter.
Thank you for saying so.
Here's to 5 miserable months on the wagon and all the irreparable harm that it's caused me.
skip the pre-rinsing. Piece of cake.
See for yourself at meattag.com/cake.
New brisket at Chipotle. Seasoned, smoked, seared, spiced, sauced, bold, and guac. It's a whole new kind of brisket done the Chipotle way.
Dad needed a place where he would no longer be living alone. We needed a senior living community that could best care for Dad's progressing memory loss. A place where Mom had the experience to guide us. My senior living advisor understood our needs, recommended a range of memory care communities, and was with us every step of the way. It gave us confidence in our decision. Now Dad's getting the special care that he needs.
Our service comes at no cost to your family. Connect with us today.
My daughter's name is Lillian. She's 2 years old and she's a St. Jude patient. One day when Lily was 16 months old, she gets out of the bathtub and my mama sees this huge knot on the left side of Lily's back. We got to the ER to get an x-ray and an ultrasound. It was cancer, very aggressive cancer of the soft tissue. I've dealt with cancer with family members, but never with a child. And I couldn't lose my baby, and I couldn't let Amy lose her sister.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital fights every day to save the lives of children with cancer and other life-threatening diseases. You can help St. Jude save the lives of children like Lillian. Please call or go online right now and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope for only $19 a month.
I was scared that one of my babies weren't going to be here. And St. Jude under one roof.
Thanks to your help, families housing or food because all of Call with your credit or debit card right now and receive this St. Jude t-shirt you can wear to help St. Jude save the lives of children like Lillian.
St. Jude, it's the best place. You never want your kids to have cancer. But if they do, St. Jude is the place that they need to be.
Please call or go online right now.
I didn't want to move there.
The rules are different now.
We do what we need to do, no matter the risk. This is war. It's only the beginning.
The entire basement is filled with ghosts.
There should be 12 earthbound spirits trapped inside.
There are ghosts around us all the time. Most of them can't hurt us, but there are exceptions. Islands of all they know. There are 13 ghosts.
13 Ghosts, Monday at 8, immediately followed by a creep show animated special on AMC.
How are things going, Mr. Torrance?
Things could be better, Lloyd. Things could be a whole lot better.
I hope it's nothing serious.
Nothing serious. Just a little problem with the old sperm bank upstairs. Nothing I can't handle, Lloyd. Thanks.
Women can't live with them, can't live without them.
Words of wisdom, Lloyd. Words of wisdom. I never laid a hand on a man. I didn't. I wouldn't touch one hair on his man's head. I love the little son of a bitch. I'd do anything for him. Any freaking long as I live, she'll never let me forget what happened.
I fucked his hole!
I did hurt him once, okay? It was an accident. Completely unintentional. Could happen to anybody. It was 3 damn years ago. A little moron thrown all my papers all over the floor. All I tried to do was pull them up. No loss of muscular coordination. Pounds of energy per second.
Spit, 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 spit. Give him a little extra treat. Give him a little extra treat. Spit, 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 spit.
Are you out of your freaking mind?
It's the truth, really. I swear it. Danny told me. He went up into one of the bedrooms. The door was open and he saw this crazy woman in the bathtub. She tried to strangle him.
Which room was it?
Slut. That was stupid.
From Channel 10 in Miami, this is Newswatch.
Yep, that was stupid on my part.
Bishop and the
I just fucked up.
Newswatch team. Good evening, I'm Glenn Rinker, Newswatch 10.
Son of a
Miami continues
bitch.
to swelter in a record winter heat wave, bringing temperatures to the mid and upper
That
90s.
fucking pisses me
The
off.
Rocky Mountain states are buried in snow. In Colorado, 10 inches of snow has fallen in just a few hours tonight. Travel in the Rockies is almost impossible. Airports are shut
That fucking
down for
pisses me
thousands
off.
of passengers. Highways are blocked by snowdrifts. Railroad tracks.
Why can't I move there?
Officials in Colorado
Oh,
told Newswatch
that damn
that
whore.
have been killed by exposure to freezing winds. The governor of Colorado is expected tomorrow to declare a weather emergency. The National Guard might be called out to clear streets and roads. Forecasters predict more snow and heavy winds tonight and tomorrow, with temperatures dropping well below zero. Back here in South Florida, we've got just the opposite problem. The heat and
You
humidity
slut.
are supposed to climb. Local beaches should be jammed. Our weather expert, Walter Brunice, will have the local forecast later on. Miami City Commission.
You slut. No. No. I don't. I don't. You slut. Come on, you slut. Fucking, I want a fucking rematch. Slut. Shit. Shit. Rematch me, slut. That fucking pisses me off. Oh, you want to swap pores? Okay, let's swap. We'll swap pores. Let's swap pores. Come on, let's swap pores. Yeah, let's swap pores. Let me touch your head. Boop. No. 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 Wake up, Boozy Suzanne, weep. Shit. Damn! No, undamn. With Uzi, Emily.
Tonight, Seth Gilliam, Richie Coster, Aaliyah Royale, and Scott M. Gimple join Chris Hardwick on Talking Dead tonight, only on AMC.
We come to this place to love, to cry, to care. That indescribable feeling.
Play the fucking music, slut.
Dazzling images on a huge silver screen. Beautiful music soaring through. And we go somewhere we've never been before. That's magic. AMC Theaters.
There are hundreds of videos that haven't been launched on YouTube or Patreon, and make sure you guys join the Patreon to help us grow.
Uzi, Emily.
Myth Vision. Welcome back to Myth Vision Podcast. Your host, Derek Lambert. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to an ex-Jehovah's Witness, Ashley Campbell, and she's going to share her story and some of the things that happened while she was still in the cult of the Jehovah's Witnesses, as well as what led her out, some of the ideas that may have led her out. And so I want you guys first, before this video starts, hit that subscribe button here. Also, Ashley has a channel It's her name, Ashley Campbell, and she's doing ex-Jehovah's Witness content. So go over and subscribe to her and be on the lookout for any content she might publish. Hit that subscribe, like the channel, comment on her stuff. Help it grow so more people are getting their voice heard about this content. Welcome to the channel, Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Let's start with how did you get involved?
She's
born into this? Your parents?
She's cute.
Usually that's what happens, but tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I was born in. Both of my parents had converted.
Get that slutty knot out of here.
And that's how they met. I was born into a congregation in Maine. And I was pretty active, I think as a kid, but especially in my early teen years.
You fucking slut.
My parents were in. My dad was considered inactive, which is when someone is in good standing within the congregation, but they're not actively participating, going to meetings and out in service. But they're also not doing anything that would get them punished, which would be like disfellowshipped or regrouped or anything. So he was in good standing, but he didn't go. So it was me and my mom, and I was really trying my best as a kid. As a teen, I studied with a couple in my congregation, which is something that a lot of people will do. They'll kind of seek someone out for people in their teens or people who they want to develop to study with. So I did that. I auxiliary pioneered, which is, I feel like I have to like explain all these terms.
No, go ahead.
So pioneering is something people can kind of sign up for to go out and field service, which is the going door-to-door thing that Jehovah's Witnesses are known for. And you sign up for a certain amount of hours per month. So people who are regular pioneers do that month after month. And they often will work part-time, or they'll find kind of
come on, you slut.
some way to make it work. Because you're doing, so many hours a week going door to door. So I did that for 1 month, and it was tough.
How did that go? Tell me, like, for the 1 month you were out there, how did that go? Did you have anyone like slam the door in your face? Did you get uncomfortable?
Yeah,
get
it's
that
not fun.
slutty little whore out of
here. You do it as a kid who's born in. You do it from the time you're able to walk.
Get that slutty little queen out of here.
So
slut.
It wasn't anything I hadn't done before that I wasn't
used to, fucking
but
slut.
Doing it so much, it definitely kind of makes you realize how much work it is. When you're just doing it once in a while, it's not so bad. You kind of have fun. You can get through it, but doing it back-to-back days, it's rough, especially because a lot of people aren't receptive. A lot of people aren't nice, and I don't blame them. But it's tough as a kid, I think.
Does it make you feel, when they're rejecting you and your religion, because really you feel it's probably personal in some sense at times, did that affect you in any way? Like people who were like, listen, you guys are out of your mind, or did you guys get so brainwashed into the religion that you were like feeling bad for them? Even though they're shutting the door on you feeling bad for you, you're feeling bad for them in your own mind going, Satan's got these poor people. Is that how you guys were thinking?
Yeah, I think that's what you're taught to feel, is that Satan has his grasp on these people, and if they reject what you're handing them on a silver platter, they're not going to make it through Armageddon. So yeah, you feel bad for those people. I think at the same time, though, being born in, it's a tough place to be, because converting, you have your own set of beliefs before you go into it, right? So it's more authentic when you convert, because you know what's out there. But when you're born in, it's like switch, you're learning as you grow older. So I definitely had feelings of like, am I the abnormal one? Like, are these people real? Are they legit? Or am I crazy? So you definitely have a little bit of like both going on in your head, I think. At least
That's interesting. Armageddon is a huge thing in the Jehovah's Witness camp. It was a huge thing in the New Testament, I must admit. The New Testament is all about this doomsday Armageddon, the wheat and the chaff, the sheep and the goat. You know, it's coming. Fire is coming. And the Jehovah's Witnesses are anticipating this event to take place, and all the unrighteous are going to be in big trouble. Did you have dreams growing up like I did as a child about the end and like maybe the rapture? Do they teach the rapture?
It's been so long. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's something different.
As a kid, the Witnesses also have a lot of publications. I'm sure you know about that. The Watchtower and Awake. These magazines that they study every week and hand out to people. They depict a lot of what's coming. So there are a lot of pictures of Armageddon. There's even a book called My Book of Bible Stories for Kids that has a lot of images I would never show my child if I had a kid.
Right.
And so you don't even have to imagine it. Like, it's there for you to see. So yeah, you dream about that stuff. It's pretty messed up as a little kid thinking about fireballs coming down from the sky, like killing all your classmates. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy place to be.
Yeah, that's it's sad. The same thing I experienced as a Christian, and you know, they've set quite a few dates that have come not to pass, so to speak. They've failed predictions, and I wanted to ask you. We know now you're not a Jehovah's Witness, so something happened. Something like drastic happened, and I don't know. Most of the guys I've talked to, they say leaving it was gradual for them. They couldn't just like one day they snap the fingers and they're out. But there were a few things that started to add up for them in their little deconversion scenario. What was it that started to set you on that path on questioning everything and going through that little faith crisis?
I think that, you know, like I said, being born in, I kind of always had doubts. I did innately believe what I was taught
Get
from
that
birth.
slutty little whore out of here,
When
slut.
I thought about not being a Jehovah's Witness, I definitely had
Son
like
of a
butterflies in my
bitch.
stomach. You know, that's the only way I can describe it. When I thought about, oh man, if I'm not a Jehovah's Witness when Armageddon comes, like, I'm fucked. And I think that comes, like, I'm fucked. And I think that it did add up over time for me, and there wasn't any one thing that made me go, like, this, I can't, like, this is not it. It was just
He's bringing
a
that
decision
whore.
that I knew I had to make. And I wasn't fully deconverted when I left. I still kind of believed, or at
Get
least
that
I
slutty
wasn't
little
sure.
king out of here.
The acronym
That
for that
slut-
when you're out.
That slutty little whore out of here.
There's an acronym.
POMI, I think. Physically out, mentally in. You can like vary those letters, but
That was kind of you, kind of.
kind of. For a very short time. When I left, it was kind of a thing of like, I don't care if I die at Armageddon. I'll sign the death certificate myself, because I was so miserable that I couldn't do it anymore. But yeah, I did think if Armageddon comes, I'm not going to make it through. But shortly after I left, like, the further you get away from it, the more clarity you have, and the more you can look back and say, like, that shit's whack.
Right. What was it that, is there something, I mean, you said you were miserable. Were there certain things like the lifestyle itself, and you're seeing everyone else, like, happy and living a life that wasn't, like, constructed by this cult that made you kind of influenced in a way? Do you think that, who was it, friends at school or other people, or what was it?
Yeah, because I left when I was like 19 or 20, so the majority of my experience was as a kid and a teenager. And it always, always hurt to not be able to associate with people who are my friends, people who I would used to be my friends, and to see them leading normal lives, being involved in sports, holidays, you know, having what looked like a good life. And I'm not saying I didn't, but it is very isolating, for sure.
Your screen went yellow.
Uh-oh.
Up there. I don't know what happened there. No biggie, no biggie. Did you in the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Stupid.
When you were young, or was it not something you worried about till you left?
You're not really supposed to do much of that, but I was like a boy crazy teenager, so I did as much as I could get away with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did.
Pissed.
When I was 17, I did meet someone, and we actually got married when I was freshly 18. But you know, it didn't last long, and it wasn't meant to. I don't think.
Was he a Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh wow. Wow. What is he?
Prepare
if you don't
for
mind
a
me
whole
asking, is he
fucking-
still in Jehovah's Witness, or
There
is he
ain't
still-
no way out of that.
As far as I know, yeah, he has a big family who were all in it and had a big presence in their Kingdom Hall. So I think it's harder to leave when you're the only one. When you have a big family and they're all in, and they might shun you. Worst case scenario, they might act like you don't exist. You don't want that. That's not something you want to go through. So I wouldn't be surprised if you were still in, but not believing.
Wow. So you have no contact with him, really?
No, not really. I just think that's one of those doors that I've closed. And that, I think, event in my life was what really prompted me leaving, because before we got married, 17, I was going through it. I was going through it in a lot of ways. Just being a 17-year-old kid, but also really struggling with my beliefs, because here's this thing that I've been taught from birth that I just don't agree with. And I can see how shitty it is and how people are treated, and what it's done for my life, which is jack shit. So I'm like, I feel like I should be in it, but it sucks. And then, I'm gonna get married. This is gonna steer me on a good path. And after we did that, I just realized I wasn't any happier. I was actually even more miserable, and it was just something that I couldn't do anymore. So that's when it led me to the
Ooh, I fuck.
if I die in Armageddon, so be it.
Wow. You had pretty much come to
Man, I stuck a big
I'm
dick
done.
in his
I'm
butt.
just done. And I need to
My
ask these
dick is
questions
getting
because it's
hard.
important to try and understand maybe the influence that might have taken place, because leaving a cult that powerful, mentally speaking, the way that it controls your even thinking
Hey, I'll put your black ass installing even though you're white.
can't. People question, I'm not supposed to question.
Abandoning
Doubting's
games.
bad. I shouldn't question, that kind of stuff. Did your family, you said they were Jehovah's Witness, or at least your dad was out but still a believer. Your mom was active member?
I cursed the Jehovah's Witnesses.
So what happened there? Are they still active members and you just left and they were willing to allow? What's going on there?
Well, they're not in any longer, but that's a more recent thing.
With
They were still in when I left. And
Emily.
it took them a while to kind of realize
she's
and
holding her
separate
arm
themselves,
like
but I'm
that,
happy
no.
to say that they're not in it anymore.
Wow. Okay, that's good. That's good. They're they're probably thinking this was definitely a bad idea. But I'm sure
That
there's
looks like
good
Brooke
morals
McKeel.
you guys learned and
A
picked
friend
up.
I knew in
but there's a lot of
1998, 99
harmful
at
stuff that happened
ECU
in the process.
Greenville, the Underwater
I
Cafe
asked that
downtown Greenville.
because a lot of people I've talked to aren't in connection with their family. Like Fifth, Cliff Henderson, he was on that Leah Remini show with Lloyd Evans and stuff, and they were talking about ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and he was saying his parents literally disowned him.
Yeah.
They take it so serious. But your parents were, I guess you could call them lukewarm Jehovah's Witnesses. And they were like, I'm not getting rid of my kid. I mean, no matter what anyone says, that's my child, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so lucky because I was disfellowshipped after I left.
Oh, you want to swap whores? Let's swap whores. Let's swap whores.
Made it clear,
Come on, let's swap whores.
I'm leaving the
Come on,
religion.
let's
This
swap
isn't what I want to
bitches.
do. So I didn't disassociate myself. I was kind of just gonna leave.
Right.
But he wanted to stay in, and in order for him to move on and get remarried, the yoke would have to be broken. There's that scripture in the Bible that says, "What God has yoked together, let no man pull apart." I think is wording. And so, as a witness, you're technically allowed to get divorced. It's kind of frowned upon, but technically you're allowed to. You're not going to get punished, but you can't move on and remarry, because it would be, in God's eyes, considered adultery. So what has to happen? And this is like the complexity of the rules that are just so stupid. What has to happen is someone has to commit adultery first.
Right.
And so obviously, like, that was going to have to be me so that he could remarry. So I kind of
Get that
he asked
slut
me if I
out
would
of
go to
here.
the elders and say that I had committed adultery. I had not. But I just he wanted it. And so I just went to the elders. I was like, oh yeah, cheated on him. And then they just fellowshipped me. I didn't really care much about it because I was leaving. I was like, what the fuck do I care if I'm just fellowshipped?
Right.
But then I don't remember how long it took me to kind of realize that much about it because I was leaving. I was like, what the fuck do I care if I'm just fellowshipped?
Right.
But then I don't remember how long it took me to kind of realize this, but I started thinking about my mom, who was going to have to be at the meetings alone and, lose her support there. Because when someone's disfellowshipped, it's really just gross. Like, it's looked down on. So I knew my mom was going to be sitting at the meetings and people were judging her and probably start treating her shitty because she had a disfellowshipped kid. Yeah. So I was like, I made a mistake. So I decided to get reinstated. And I had to go to every meeting for a year before they would reinstate me, which was a crazy experience. I look back now and I'm like, I don't know how I did that. I don't think I could do it again.
You gotta tell me more about this, because I have tried. It's pretty much church discipline is what it is. It's a way of disciplinary way to prove that you're going to show new actions that are going to change. So I went through similar things at the Presbyterian church before I got excommunicated for leaving and just not coming back. But when you're psychologically feeling like that, why would you want to go and feel the shameful weight of others' eyes on you? It's just not a comfortable environment. But tell me more about your experience over that year.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Was it like that? You walk in and there's people legitimately looking down, and you know that they're talking about you, they're judging you, they're all of that.
Well, and they won't even look at you. They won't make eye contact with you because there's
Tell me more.
You're under Satan's control, so that's even
Tell
more
me more.
than if
Tell
you were
me more.
a worldly person, a person who's not in the faith. I would even, I'd have to go and sit there and act like I was paying attention because I'm supposed to be repentant. While at the time I'm like, this is a bunch of bullshit. Like, these people are crazy, and I'm having to sit here and just I'm so into this. But I'm in a crowded congregation. I'm sitting next to someone, and I have to make sure my shoulder doesn't accidentally brush theirs because I know they're going to be freaked out about it. It's like that kind of thing. I'm disgusting to them. So yeah, that really sucked. It sucked.
Wow. And you did that for your mom pretty much? I mean, yeah, there's more to it than just that. Of course, you love your mom. So there's that level of I don't want to let my mom down. I want her to be proud of her daughter. But at the same time, there's still the faith factor, I'm sure, that played some role. What if this is right? What if I've been doing wrong? I'm trying to do right, but this doesn't feel right. But I'm trying in my mind, that's got to be a mental hell that you went through in that time phrase.
I think the mental hell was my entire life leading up to that point. So at that point, I was like, fuck this. This is wrong. These people are wrong. What they're teaching. I was like, fuck this. This is wrong. At that point, I was like, fuck this. This is wrong. These people are wrong. What they're teaching is wrong.
I was like, fuck this.
I was completely unconvinced. I think I never, I was taught from birth, so I never went through the process of finding it for myself. And there were times, I really tried to believe and to be a good witness. there was definitely,
Son of a
you know,
bitch.
that innate feeling like all this other bullshit might be bullshit, but like the fundamental teaching of paradise, like that could be real. So I better get my shit together and be a good witness.
It sounds good.
But I knew at that point
Damn it.
I was done with it. I didn't believe in God anymore. I didn't believe in the paradise. But I did really love my mom, and she believed, and she still believes in God. And I think I'd been through the mental gymnastics of my beliefs, but it was hell in the sense that I then had to sit there and be present for something that I truly despise and listen to the propaganda, and not say anything about it, and not present for something that I truly despise and listen to there and be present for something that I truly despise and listen to the propaganda, and not say anything about it and not act disgusted even though I was. But I was lucky because my parents never stopped loving me and being parents. They never shunned me, even when I was disfellowshipped.
Good for your parents.
Which was lucky, yeah. A lot of parents, you know, it's the thing of, you can't say that if you really loved your kids, you wouldn't shun them, because you're shunning them so that they'll come back and they'll get everlasting life. So I can't say that parents who shun their kids are 100% bad parents, because they really think that if they don't get their kid to come back in using the technique of shunning them and making them feel bad so they'll come back, you know, they're going to miss out on paradise. So you want to do that. And that's a technique that the witnesses use and they preach to their followers. So, yeah.
Glad they didn't. And I say that because as a parent, it comes natural to not do something like that. Naturally. So the witnesses are pushing something that doesn't come natural. And you got to be a faithful witness to do something like that on the next level. So I'm glad the curiosity you had kept you searching. And were there any things when you left the Jehovah's Witnesses, like, it sounds like you had an interest in like trying to kind of figure out how it was wrong in some way. Did you do any research when you left and said, hold on, I gotta look this thing up and look at what everyone's saying about this thing? Did you do some of that?
Well, I left almost 12 years ago. So in 2009, there wasn't a ton of stuff out there. There were websites, but it wasn't like today. Like, even now, there's not a ton out there, but there's a heck of a lot more than there was when I left. So I did, for the first time, kind of go on these apostate websites, which when you're in it, they tell you that apostate material, it's the worst. It's basically Satan speaking through apostates. So I remember being a kid and going on a website one time that was an ex-Jehovah's Witness website, and like opening it up and then getting so freaked out because I thought Satan was going to come through my screen. So I immediately shut it down. But yeah, after I left, I did a lot of research, and there were things that I discovered about the organization that I did not know my entire life growing up. I didn't know about all of the predictions leading up from well, first of all, I didn't know that it was kind of started by this one guy. Didn't know that. I didn't know that they had predicted the end over and over and over again, and the last time being in 1975. Had no idea. I had this leading up from well, first of all, I didn't know that it was kind of started by this one guy. Didn't know that. I didn't know that they had predicted the end over and over and over again, and the last time being in 1975. Had no idea. I had no idea about this thing called Beth Sarim. So, and I should have looked this up before coming on stream. So I had no idea about this thing called Beth Sarim. So, and I should have looked this up before coming on here. So people are going to come after me because I'm not like going to
accurate with the information, right?
But basically one of the founders was just profiting immensely off of the organization. This was when there was one founder, or one, now there's a governing body of like 7 or 8 guys, but this was when there was just one. But I think he was like the second one to come in. Yeah. People can like...
Correct her in the comment section.
So he had this mansion built in, I think, California. He's like, okay, guys, all these dudes are going to come back. There's going to be like a resurrection of all of these apostles. So we need a place for them to live. So we gotta build like a pretty sweet mansion for them. We gotta get a couple of Rolls Royces in the driveway, and I'm just gonna stay here and like keep watch over the mansion for when they come back, which is like pretty slick, I gotta say, because he was living large.
Now they got the TV preachers who say they have to have their own private jet. I saw something funny where there's all these evil spirits and demons with all the people, so that he had to have his own private jet so he doesn't get close to people who have spirits. Whatever. You can come up with all sorts of stuff. I need to start doing that too. I need to start figuring out. No, but I think it's crazy the more you research and find out how human the movement is. Because we thought it was all hocus pocus, and what I mean by that isn't in any way like a derogatory thing, but we all thought it was magical. We thought this was all supernatural, that it's really divine, and the more you find out these are just men with ideas.
Get that slut out of there.
Want power and control, and sometimes there's legitimate, belief in these books that manipulate their thinking into thinking the way they think, but I kind of am torn between, are they just delusional into reading these texts and then thinking this is true and reinterpreting them, or is it kind of like a selfish thing, like how do I benefit, how do I make it better for myself, that kind of thing. So I'm torn between the two things, but
yeah, I have a hard time believing that they truly believe, because look, they're using techniques that if Jesus and God were real, they wouldn't be shunning people. If God is love, they wouldn't be doing that. They're doing things that they know will keep their members kind of in line. So
bitch.
Maybe they believe a little bit, but I'm 100% convinced that they're well aware of what they're doing, and that they are using techniques that they've come up with that they know works. The organization has changed so much over time. They're subtle, they're not like this dude, back in the day with the mansion. They know what they're doing, like they're not overtly fucking with people. They're doing it very subtly.
Ashley, what do you believe now? I mean, like, where are you at now? Are you an atheist? Are you, what is your, do you put yourself a label, or where are you at?
Yeah, I'm in the IDGAF religion.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. It sounds like that, yeah. No,
Yeah.
but I mean, so technically you finally just left it all alone and moved on. You don't really get involved much with any of the religious stuff at all anymore?
No, I think there are two types of people. I think I don't need a God. I have no innate desire to worship or believe in a creator or anything beyond what I'm experiencing here and now, but I think that some people do. And I can't, I can't be mad at those people. Some people need that. Especially, I think, the people who have a reason to. If they've lost loved ones. If I got sick and was dying, I might think differently. I might be like, okay, now I gotta believe something before I go. But right now, I'm not interested. It doesn't bother me to think that there is no God, or no afterlife. I think I just spent so much of my life worrying and obsessing over
Out of fire and
that
into
I
the
have
fire.
nothing left to give.
I'm
So,
fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Home!
Into that whole, if I was dying or something, that experience of hoping. It's not that you think there's a God or I'm trying to get right with something before I go. It's the idea of like, for me, it's not a fear of God or fear of a place. For me, it would be more like a hope that there's somewhere to go where we can be with our loved ones that we love. That's it. That's all it is. And it's almost like a hope. No, I personally don't believe.
Stupid.
I don't think it's bad
You
to
moron.
wish there was a place where you could spend the rest of your time,
Right.
to be with the people
You
you love.
moron.
There's nothing wrong with wishing something like that, but I'm also not going to create a delusion in my mind, as I know matter-of-factly I'm going to a place, and so are you. We know this. No. I mean, it's not wrong with wishing and hoping, but that's all kind of like the same way we get into music today. We enjoy fantasizing certain things and stuff. So yeah, if you were to tell someone who's
black
sitting on
ass
the
for
fence
stalling
right
you
now,
in the VR white.
they're just watching this because they're curious to hear why you aren't a Jehovah's Witness.
Bitch.
What would you say to them?
Hole!
Not that you're out. What's life like?
I suck a dick up his butt.
It's good. It's a lot better. That's a tough one because I think we touched on this a little bit when we were
still able to sit down and play.
Everyone has their own.
Get that whore out of here.
I think what I would need to say to someone to get them to understand what is happening to them, I think is different for everyone.
Right.
I think the best thing that you can do is to do research. Satan's not going to come through your screen. Nothing bad is going to happen to you if you do research. You're educating yourself. And the organization that makes you censor yourself because they know that if you do outside research and find out the things that I found out after I left, you're going to start questioning things. Your faith is going to be shaken. You're going to have doubts. You're going to wonder, is this really the true religion? Is what I'm investing my entire life in really worth it? And, that's for you to decide. No one can tell you what to believe. Not even the witnesses.
Research. Okay. So if you were to tell an atheist, someone who's never been a Jehovah's Witness, let's say, or even someone else from a different faith that's ever looking at Jehovah's Witnesses, and you were trying to explain to them, I guess, how would you ask them to go about trying to help someone who's in the cult?
I think that there's a lot to be said for the presentation of oneself outside of the religion. So when you are in the religion, you have this sense of us versus them. There's witnesses and there's non-witnesses. And I said this in one of my videos and I got a lot of pushback on it, but I firmly believe, and I know what I was taught and what I believed, is that when you leave, you are going to be subject to Satan's whim. So you're going to do drugs, you're going to dye your hair crazy colors, you're going to pierce every place that you can, and you're going to go crazy, you're going to be under Satan's grasp, you're going to be under demonic influence. So I think that, it says a lot to show people, I'm normal as all get out. My life is fine. I'm not crazy. I'm not, worshiping Satan.
Shit.
I'm not doing drugs. Everything is good. I'm not, hurting myself in any way. I'm not letting Satan control me. And, you really believe that if you leave, your life is just going to go downhill. And the thing is, it often does, because you were in a cult. I struggled big time when I left. It took me a long time to get to where I am now, but it wasn't because I'm under some influence. It was because I grew up in a cult. I had to leave and be just thrown into the real world, in which I wasn't equipped for. So I think a lot of times people do struggle a lot with their mental health. And I think that as an outsider, as an atheist, if you're talking to a Jehovah's Witness, just show them you can be reasonable, you can be level-headed, you're not one or the other.
Yeah, because dyeing your hair is a sure sign that demons and evil spirits are in you. That's for sure. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Do not dye your hair. Well, you can't dye your hair unnatural colors. Let's put it that way. If it's natural, your spirits are good. If it's unnatural,
God damn it.
we know what's going on, okay? We know the spirits are there. No, I think this was really, really fun, and this was really educational. Is there anything that we didn't cover, Ashley, that you're hiding from us? No, I'm just kidding. No, but is there anything you can think of that we didn't touch on that might be valuable in light of your experience as a Jehovah's Witness, exiting the Jehovah's Witness and living life again? Is there something you can think of?
Yeah, I think that when you leave, because there's so little out there in terms of deprogramming from a cult, I think there's a struggle to kind of understand what you've gone through, what has happened to you, and what the effects are and will be. So I just wanted to plug this book. It is so good. Combating Cult Mind Control by Steve Hassan. This guy was in a cult, and he knows what's up. He doesn't mention the Jehovah's Witnesses in this book. He was actually in a cult called the Moonies. And I don't even know when this was written, but it's so relatable. And it just goes to show that a lot of these cults are created by the same design.
Right.
So many of the things that he talks about in here I'm like, oh yeah, it's just checking all of the boxes of what I went through. He talks about how people get brainwashed. And when I read this, it really blew my mind because I realized, I was brainwashed. I didn't consent to that. I thought, he talks about the 4 components of mind control. And he says that it's behavior control, thought control, emotional control, and information control. So anyone who's been in a cult can easily start listing the methods of control under each of those categories. But the one that really stuck out to me was the thought control, because it's I have my own thoughts. No one's in my head. I'm my own person. I have my own personality. And I think that a lot of cult members think that. I know that a lot of cult members think that they're not under some sort of control. They're not brainwashed because you're cognizant through the whole thing. You think that you're aware. But he specifically, under the thought control piece, he talks about having a loaded language of words and expressions as a technique that destructive cults use. And he says that since language provides the symbols we use for thinking, controlling certain words helps to control thoughts. Which is so, just having to explain all of the things, auxiliary pioneering, worldly people, it's so relevant for the Jehovah's Witnesses, I think.
That's wonderful, actually. And another thing that I think plays into that, he mentioned the 4 categories. This is coming from my own experience as a recovering drug addict who's gone through a serious, hardcore addiction. They say to change one's thinking, you have to change one's actions. You can't think your way into new thinking, they said. It requires new actions to rewire the thinking. So when they control what you can do and cannot do, they're creating boundaries on your thinking, on what you're allowed to do and what you're allowed to not do creates what you're allowed to think, what you're allowed to not think. So when you're used to living a certain pattern lifestyle, it's no, you're not controlling my thinking. I want to do this because it's what you're doing. When I was a drug addict doing things I knew were wrong but still did them to keep my substances and to do what I wanted, to keep getting high, that pattern in my mind, it was you're not forcing me. But looking back, I was being driven by an uncontrollable, if you will, addiction that took over. And I feel like religion touches the same instincts, the same things as addiction.
Absolutely. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And it's not just that they're words. This author says, they symbolize something. So when you think about worldly people, they're just people, But to witnesses, they're this class of people.
Still have any clowns?
It's the us versus them. When you think about the term Kingdom Hall, it's just a church. It's the physical structure that you go to worship your God. But to them it's special. They're not going to church, they're going to the Kingdom Hall. So it's kind of like this differentiator. Even another fun thing that I had almost forgotten about is that they call each other brother and sister. So I was Sister Campbell. And it sounds nice, but if you're not a witness, you're not my brother or sister. You know, so it's another one of those things that creates the mentality of I'm better than you. I have the knowledge. I'm getting through paradise. I'm like, sorry, you're not my brother or sister. So I think it's almost like they have this huge set of terms that creates this mentality that you don't realize it's happening.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful, and that's what all the other cults do. And they do the same thing that this guy's talking about. Some might be more brainwashy and more, I guess you'd say, affect people in a worse way than other cults, maybe. But I do personally draw that that cult mentality, it drives its force through most all of Christianity. Some don't have, gates at the door saying, hey, you can't leave. What do you think you're doing? Others might say, no, go ahead and leave. They're free, you're free to come and go. But there's still this, like, psychological war.
Damn kings and shit. Son of a bitch, I fucked up. Get that slutty bishop out of here. Get that slutty nut out of here. She's a spit effect. With the spit effect. Get that slutty work out of here. Get that slutty work out of here. Get that slutty look out of here, you slut. You slut. Come on, you fucking slut. God damn.